This is Channel 4. There now follows a party election broadcast by the Conservative Party.
You've just seen the new Labour Party of Neil Kinnock. Glossy brochures, glossy words, glossy images. It all looks very comfortable and cosy, doesn't it? But when you look behind all the rosy covers, what do you find?
This is Valerie Vaness, Labour candidate for Nuneaton.
A Labour government has got to take on the people who obstruct it, arresting them if necessary. Arm the workers if necessary.
Pat Wall, Labour candidate for Bradford North.
The working class needs an entirely different kind of state, a workers' state, based upon councils of workers' delegates and a workers' militia.
Bernie Grant, Labour candidate for Haringey, talking about the Tottenham riots.
The police got a bloody good hiding.
Ken Livingstone, Labour candidate for Brent East and former leader of the GLC.
I'm not in favour of the army. I'm in favour of replacing it with armed workers' brigades to defend the factories.
Diane Abbott, Labour candidate for Hackney North and Stoke Newington.
All white people are racist.
And this is Neil Kinnock.
I am deeply antagonistic to militant. I want them out of the Labour Party. We shall act very toughly.
So, what very tough action against the hard left has Neil Kinnock taken? Well, he endorsed all the people you just heard as official Labour candidates. And that is by no means all of them.
101 of the official Labour candidates in the election have been identified by the Alliance as belonging to the hard left. Amongst them are candidates who have either contributed to Militant Tendencies funds or have supported militants' right to be in the Labour Party. Militant Tendencies' declared aim is to forward the revolutionary class struggle. Even The Guardian has published a report showing that nearly 60% of the Parliamentary Labour Party next time could be from the left of the party. And Ken Livingstone, who only came to power in the GLC by overthrowing the moderate elected Labour leader exactly 24 hours after the election, said,
The new intake will represent the most radical bunch of MPs the party has ever had. They will change the whole centre of balance in the Labour Party.
So watch out, Mr. Kinnock. The truth is that behind all their newfound gloss, the Labour Party is more extreme and left-wing, less like the traditional Labour Party than at any time in its history. Would that really make any difference if they ever got into power? Well, don't let me answer that. You only have to see what happened where the new Labour Party have had a taste of power in local government.
The Inner London Education Authority. This Labour-controlled authority has, on its suggested reading list for schools, Young, Gay and Proud. The playbook for kids about sex. Black Lesbian in White America. Camden. This Labour council decided to sell off its street lamps, library books and parking meters. It's costing their ratepayers a small fortune, because Camden has now to pay rent in order to use them. Leeds. People in a Labour-controlled Leeds nursery school decided Biggles books were biased because they advocate loyalty to the Crown. Brighton. Richard Stanton, Labour chairman of Brighton Council's Finance Committee, talking about the Grand Hotel bombing.
A justified political act.
That's the new rosy Labour Party in local government. Now, if you need more proof of the left-wing thorns behind the rose, look at the Labour manifesto itself, at the hard left policies that lurk beneath the glossy cover.
Law and order. They would re-legalize secondary picketing, which led to scenes like this. And they would politicize the police by bringing them under the control of local politicians. Terrorism. Labour is committed to repeal the Prevention of Terrorism Act at a time when it's never been needed more. Nationalisation. Oblivious to the fact that 99% of British gas workers took up the offer of shares in the company they work for, they will renationalise British Gas and British Telecom and force more companies into state control. Defence. At a time when Russian nuclear capacity is at its highest ever, they will reverse the policy of every Labour government since the war who have supported Britain's nuclear defence. They will scrap our Polaris missiles, cancel our Trident missiles, remove all cruise missiles, and insist the Americans remove all their nuclear bases from British soil, abandoning the very policy that has given Europe the longest period of peace in her history.
So, this is the new, so-called, moderate, militant-free Labour Party. Behind the new glossy covers, the red flag is still flying at home, and the white flag abroad. The left is now dominant in the Labour Party, in a way it probably never has been. Well, you might expect me to say that, but I didn't. It was Peter Hain, the official Labour candidate for Putney. So if you're even considering voting Labour, I would ask you to consider first whether you really want people like this to represent you.
Jeremy Corbyn, Labour candidate for Islington North.
Defeat of the Tory government will be brought about by a series of disputes of which Parliament is only a part.
Pat Wall, Labour candidate for Bradford North.
A Marxist Labour government would mean the abolition of the monarchy, the House of Lords, the sacking of the generals, the admirals, the air marshals, the senior civil servants, the police chiefs, and in particular the judges.
Ken Livingstone, Labour candidate for Brent East and former leader of the GLC.
The rank and file of the Labour Party, which has been quite cautious in what it says, over the last few months, as we approach the election, will be given a renewed vigour and actually more progressive.
Don't let the left run Britain. On June the 11th, vote Conservative.
That was a party election broadcast by the Conservative Party.